doing? Hey! You get your hands off her! Do you hear me? Get your hands off of her!
Mind your own business.
Oh, you got balls?
Good mama, look.
All right, welcome everyone to another episode of Inside Hollywood. Today, I'm joined by a gentleman who originally the family roots are from Sicily, via Milan. He is a wonderful filmmaker, director, writer, you name it, he does it all. And I first came across him in a wonderful movie with a lot of mutual friends called Don Q, where he made his directorial debut. I want to welcome to the show, Claudio Bellante. How are you doing, Claudio?
Thank you, Vinny. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the great presentation.
Well, you deserve it. So it is my pleasure to have you. Again, we mentioned Don Q, but you've done a lot of different productions. But that's where I found you. And again, a lot of mutual friends and people that I'm a big fan of, Chuck Zito, and of course, Craig DeFrancia, who was on the show, and Armand Assante. The list goes on and on. But tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I grew up in Milan. Like you said, like family is originally from Sicily, but I grew up in Milan. I had an extensive experience in nightlife. I was running club and event, and in the meantime, like doing the acting school. That's where I started, like a little bit in the business in Italy as an actor. I did a lot of theater. I did like a couple of movies, nothing crazy, mostly music videos, like short films. But the great thing is like that my acting school, which was based on obviously on the American method, Stanislavski and stuff, it was at the end of the year we had to put together a play and put together like a mini short. So there was a little bit of filmmaking included in the school that was giving you the base, a little bit of shooting, the base of producing it, the base of writing it. So even though my first love was acting, with the year, I started to develop knowledge and passion for everything else. Started to write my own scripts. I started to put together little scenes. I basically worked very closely with directors so that I could learn by doing, learn by watching, being on set. And of course, the love of the movies, the love for TV shows, like growing up with obviously the American cinema as an example, gave me a little bit the inspiration and knowledge of how to make my own things.
That's great. And listen, it's a wonderful story. We hear so many people that come over from other parts of the world and they come to the U.S. and everybody's pursuing this American dream,
Oh, yeah.
But the Italian cinema, and I've had experience with, I love it. Every time I used to go to Italy, I used to love Italian cinema, especially a lot of the older movies. So Italy has a phenomenal background in film in its own right. So, that's a beautiful thing to be able to blend both worlds and both styles, understand a full sort of spectrum of different styles and the way film is actually done in different countries.
Yeah, and not only Italy, I mean, of course, like we had like the greats of the 60s, then we had us, we all know Visconti, Fellini and everybody. But in the 70s, we had like a very distinct style that it was like the comedy, but also we had all these crime action film that, like, for example, Quentin Tarantino based a lot of his style from, and that's where I grew up, born in 78, so I grew up like in the 80s, and I absorbed all these kind of, the movies from the 70s, That's what like really stayed with me. You understand what I'm saying? Of course, like the bass, we all know the classics, and we all love the classics, but personally, my favorite style is same with American cinema. The films of the 70s, they had like a big impact for me, you understand? And when I made my movie, Don Q, people that knows this style, they can feel it a little bit, like in the characters, also in the storyline, and the way to shoot. So yes.
For those people, like my parents are from Italy, so I understand Italian. So I've had like an advantage when I watch these movies, especially when we talk about comedies in the 70s, 80s, Italian comedy. I love like Fantozzi, and there's a lot of great comedies, which is unlike the comedies here. It's just very different, but it's very funny. Everything's connected. You've seen that too with with some of the styles in like the '90s, even up until then, there was just a different type of comedy. But anyway, getting to the filmmaking aspect of things. Now we bring up Don Q a lot. Let's talk a little bit about that because a lot of my community, a lot of my the people that watch the show are a big fan of that type of those type of movies and that genre. And I see a lot of familiar faces, especially my favorite part of the movie was Baby John was in it.
He's a natural. Baby John is a natural. We all know, like I live in the neighborhood. I live in Little Italy, and I know like basically almost all the business owners there, the restaurant owner, the store owners, the Italian American people that they have like a long history in the neighborhood. Since I moved to the United States, I lived there, so they embraced me. I embraced them, and there's this warm atmosphere with them. So when I made this movie, to me it was like an homage to them, to their life, and to their work, and to preserve this neighborhood, and of course, like we were saying before, as a style of the Italian filmmaking is a little bit of this new realism. You wanna keep things the way they are, because 50 years from now, when people are gonna watch Don Q, for sure they're gonna see how the neighborhood was today, with the people that really work in the neighborhood and keep the neighborhood alive. So for me, this was like a tribute, an homage, and of course also like an artistic choice.
I understand completely because with my first short film, Washington Avenue, I did the same thing. I filmed it in my neighborhood, the church where I was baptized and I went to school, and the Italian market where I grew up, and some of the different symbolism. So it's a nice tribute to do. So I understand that. Where did the idea for Don Q come from?
Okay, the idea is basically the story of the Don Quixote, Cervantes, but revised in a modern key with the mob aspect and the neighborhood aspect. Like Don Quixote was like a wealthy man that like missed the values and the principles of the knighthood. So by reading stories about knighthood and chivalry extensively, he went a little bit cuckoo and he decided he's a knight and he's gonna bring back and he's gonna get the woman that he loves. And he's gonna fight what he thinks the enemy is, So it's just like after the Bible is probably the most famous novel in the world, So and it's still is a novel that is studied by anthropologists, by psychologists, because it's a tragic comedy, but at the same time, it's the spirit, is the person, a person aging and say, what should I do? Should I stay in bed and finish, or should I try to do something? Should I try to change this world and bring it back the way that it was when he was good, according to his mind? So Don Q is a little bit this, he's a wealthy old man who grew up in Little Italy, who is very passionate about reading mob books, mob movies, until he loses his mind and he decides, okay, it's my time to bring back the old neighborhoods, the old values. And in his way, obviously, we all know that after a while he gets in trouble with the real mobsters, with the real, and the neighborhood knows him. They play along with him. They know they love him. They all grow up together and they kind of like feed his fantasy,
Oké, dit is voor opa en oma, papa, mam en Katrien. Katrien, zeker. Oké, ik ga het even vertalen.
Scusate, Godfather. It's such an honor to see you.
Tommy, would you pull it in? Stop this shit.
Baciamo la mano.
Demean yourself. What are you doing?
Ik wil een foto. Kunnen we een foto maken, please? Can we... Wacht, can you take a picture?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
What the hell is this? Oh my God.
No, you have to hold it a little
You
bit
have to hold
higher.
it like this. All right.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Very kind. Thank you.
Thank
No
you.
problem.
Dat is toch geweldig. We zijn in New York en we komen tegen de Godfather. Oh my God.
And he did a phenomenal job, Armand Assante. He did such a good job. How did you get Armand to play that role? How did that happen?
That's a funny story. So basically, when I had this idea, and I went to a friend of mine who's one of the restaurant owners, and I said, "Listen, I have this idea. Just in case if we make it, would you support? With the location, with the catering? Because initially we was thinking to make it really, really small. And he said, "Yeah, of course. What's the story?" And I said, okay, the Don Quixote, but in Little Italy. He went nuts because the Don Quixote is like one of his favorite stories. He'd been studying a lot. And he said, "Oh, you should talk with my friend, Armand Assante, will love that." And I said, "Okay. I mean, it would be great, but let me write the script first." He said, okay. For sure. When I have the script, I'll tell you. He called me after 2 days and he tells me, "Armand is coming to the restaurant. He loves the story. Come on Thursday." It was Tuesday. I said, "Are you kidding me? I don't have the script." And he said, just come and talk to him. So I come, I talk to him, I meet him, and he asked me, very intense, so what's your story about? And I started to tell him, there's this guy in the neighborhood and this and that. And then he falls in love with this Chinese girl and he tries to free her for what he thinks is a danger. And he gets excited. I don't have a script. I just have an idea. And while I'm telling him, I'm kind of writing the story in my mind. And I've been telling these stories all the festivals and the premiere, and he likes it a lot. So after 30, 40 minutes, we're talking about this. He tells me okay, so do you have a script? Send me the script. And I said, yes, I need to fix it. I need to fix it. Give me a couple of weeks and I'll send you. And I took 3 weeks and I wrote it night and day. And then I sent it to him and he loved it. And then, of course, he brought a lot of ideas. He brought a lot of, we worked together on his dialogue. He had a lot of ideas on his dialogue. There was a process, even though when the script was ready, he was, let's say that he was 80 and he brought it up 100, So he did a great
He's he's a consummate professional. I mean, I think in our area here, we always loved him, especially, and he did a ton of great movies, but especially for Gotti. He's known forever for Gotti. But he's a fantastic actor, and I have to give a lot of credit also to your DP, to you as a director. I love the camera angles. Almost like a little bit noir to it. It was very old school. I think that was very, very creative.
Yeah, thank you so much. But first of all, Armand is one of the most committed person that I work with in any kind of work. He's somebody that if he tells you yes, I'll do it. He's the first to come and the last to leave. He's super available, super involved. It's amazing. It makes your job way easier, and he gives you that respect and he gives you that weight. Even as a director, he's a very collaborative person. It's amazing. And regarding everything else, yeah, it was I didn't want to make the usual mob movie because, I'm a big fan of all the mob movies that everyone loved, and I didn't want to mock them. I didn't want to say, "Oh, let's do this like Scorsese, or let's do this like this." And of course, every filmmaker has an inspiration. So nobody invented nothing. Scorsese was a fan of somebody before him, So, but I wanted to create that noir, mysterious atmosphere, a little bit surreal, to play with this, of course, he's a delusional man, but also to try to give something a little different to the audience, And the DP, I know him because we worked together in the past in films that I produced. He's Italian as well. We have a good relationship, so we could talk about everything and improvise a lot of stuff because, of course, it was a film that it wasn't a huge budget, so we had to come out sometimes with shots on the spot. So we was always trying to find the most particular, the most unusual angle, lighting, and we use a camera that it was pretty light, so you could do a lot of handheld and a lot of shoulder. So we try to make it like the most creative way as possible, so that the production flow, and of course having all these actors that they are like all friends of each other, all somehow related to the neighborhood. It was like a big family doing things together, so everybody was very ready to come up with some new ideas, like, oh, let's shoot that. No, better there. Everybody, okay. Nobody was really sticking to the production schedule. Nobody was really, everyone knows that. Also, a lot of improvisation, because I love like the moment, during the scene. So, of course, you got to follow a story, you got to follow an idea, like a dramatic plot, even of the scene. But as long as you follow that, the conflict and then the resolution in each scene, I'm okay with people like bringing their own and stick to the moment. So even Vincent Pastore, it was it was a joy to work with, because he's funny. He's also very collaborative, and we come up with a lot of funny things on the spot. That we embrace, and we say, okay, let's do it. And sometimes the line producer and the first AD, they were going crazy because we was going out of schedule, sometimes of budget. When we said, we gotta do it. I don't care. We gotta do it. And when they see that also the actors, they say, yes, let's do it. I don't care if it takes longer time or it was fun.
I think I agree with that. That same sort of like formula, because as a filmmaker, like okay, you do a script, but really it's up to you. Want me personally like the collaborative effort everybody puts in their own creativity. Maybe we don't know everything, so maybe an actor or someone on the set has an idea, and guess what, it works out. So I'm a big fan of just, okay, here's the actual script. For the most part, go by it. But if you got something good, you want to improvise, go for it. It can only make it better.
Yeah. Also, like, we had a lot of scenes that they are like one camera shot the whole scene, and originally in the script and in the schedule were 3-4 scenes, but we didn't have time, so we have to come up with some ideas. So we say, okay, let's organize everything, let's coordinate the scene, let's rehearse it, and let's do in one shot. And it came out beautifully, came out fun, and we did it maybe 3-4 times, and we saved time and money with that. So in independent film, that's what you gotta do. You gotta use creativity also because when you're running against time and when you're running against budget, so I'm very lucky to have the chance for my first feature as a director, to work with such a talent, with such a gentleman, and with such a group of actors that help the process and didn't go against the process. Chuck Zito. I worked with Chuck Zito previously in another film that I produced, and we acted together in a scene, and he's great, and he's great, and he's friends with Vinny, and he's friend with Armand, and he's friend with people in the neighborhood. So it was like really like a group of people that came together. Federico Castelluccio, is playing the womanized priest, that like very inspired by the 70s comedy, Italian. And also, he worked with Vinny, knows Armand. It was a group of people that know each other that made it super smooth.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great combination of a great cast, amazing cast. So, what can we look forward to? What are you working on now? What's coming up in the future?
Well, I have a script for a sort of a sequel. It's a sequel, but it can be a standoff, also a standalone. Sorry. Now we're checking everyone's schedule. We're thinking about it. Let's see when and where. And then I have like a couple of other films. I am passionate of martial arts. I do martial arts myself. So I have this Chinatown crime action thriller where there is like a kung fu, police investigation, and criminals. And then I have another project about the Russian mob that I've been working like 6 years. I've been going to Moscow many times. I've been interviewing people. But when I write, I go really deep. I try to do a thorough research, interviews, even in maybe if it's a bit dangerous sometimes. But I like authenticity on a script, on a project. So that's what I'm working at the moment. Everything is in development, and hopefully we'll make him soon.
Well, I'll tell you what, you definitely have a fan in me and all of my people. And I want to end this by saying that, I really love what you're about, and getting to know you now makes me even more excited for your future, because I think you're going to just create more and more great projects, and you're very passionate, you're very educated, and I want to wish you the best. And where can everybody find you so we can look you up?
Instagram, Claudio Bellante, IMDb, Claudio Bellante. Not much. And thank you again for your support on social media, for your support on the reviews, and non mo scordo, like the hero said in the Godfather too.
And again, you just brought up something that's very important. Make sure, everybody, that you go watch Don Q. Make sure that you leave a review. You go to IMDb, you leave to Amazon, everywhere you can. Leave reviews. Very important. Make sure you leave the best reviews.
Yes. Thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure to have filmmaker, director, and paisan, Claudio Bellante. We look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you so much, Vincent. Ciao,
Take
ciao.
care.